tuning in this Monday morning for this week's Discover Verb. I'm Pastor Vicky. You probably know that is Pastor Carl, our senior pastor. And we are talking today about confidence, having God confidence in your faith journey. So Pastor Carl, just once again, can you clarify for us what God confidence is as compared to self-confidence? Because we hear about self-confidence in the world. So what's the difference?
Right, and there's nothing wrong with self-confidence. No. You know, it's good to know what you can do well and be willing to execute that. God confidence, though, is something different. It's being able to trust God when God calls you to do something, to step out. And maybe you might not think that you can do it well. Right. Which was certainly true for Gideon, was certainly true for Washington. And so in those ways, to step out and say, yes, I am going to do this because I know God has called me. Mm-hmm. But there's another part of God confidence, and that is there comes a time for each individual that they have to step back and they have to let go.
So what you're saying is we shouldn't try and be God for God, that we should be the created and let the Creator God take care of things at times.
You must have listened to my sermon.
A couple times.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. That we're called to be God's servants. We're not called to try to be God. And sometimes, and for good reason. Yeah. I mentioned children in the sermon. We love our kids. We want the very best for our kids. But sometimes God calls us to step back and let go and let them live their lives. That you hit the nail on the head. There's a prayer that I think just gets at this. And I've used it in sermons before, and probably those of you who are watching this morning, you're going to say, oh yeah, that prayer, Pastor Carl talks about it all the time. But it's called the Serenity Prayer. And it's a much longer prayer, but the first part is the part that gets used the most. And it's, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. In other words, let me have the God confidence to step back and let go. Yeah. And grant me the courage to change the things I can. In other words, let me have the God confidence to step out of my comfort zone to do what God has called me. And here's the key, the wisdom to know the difference.
And we gain that wisdom by just praying each day, God, what do you have for me to do? And hearing that constant conversation with God. Then we'll know when we need to step out of our comfort zone and to try something or do what God's telling us to do. And we'll know the times we need to step back and let God be God, because God's got someone else called to do that, not us.
And that's what Gideon did. He was constantly checking with God.
Yeah, I always appreciate Gideon because he asked for a sign and then he got it and he goes, can I get another one? I feel a little bit better when I do the same thing. I'll be like, can I get another one, God? Yeah, so confidence can be a tricky thing.
And on that, can I get another one, though? The key for Gideon is sometimes it's like, we have two choices, and either choice is fine. Well, God's not going to give us a sign. But for Gideon, he was called. And so he wanted to make sure, okay, God, I want to go in the right direction. Yep. So, just one more. Just give me one more. So.
And he followed God's call.
Absolutely.
What happened. So, well, thank you so much for joining us once again. And this week, as you go out, have the God confidence to step out in faith, to do what God's telling you, calling you to do, and to ask for the wisdom and the God confidence to know when you need to step back and let someone else that God's called to do it. So you have a great day, and we'll see you on Wednesday.
God bless.